Start. And we'll give that a second so everything boots up properly. And wait till I see live video. My audio should be working. I tested the mics before I started up, so I'm not too worried about that. All right, I see we have live on 1. And let's see here. Hold on. So live on that one is good. Switch to live chat. Check number 2. Oh, I wasn't on the live thing. My fault. No, go back. Wrong. No, go back. Go back. Okay, we need the, what is that thing? Wait a minute, where's the, whoa. There's a button missing. Where's the button? Oh, I think it's the dashboard, isn't it? Yep, that's why. I was on the wrong thing. Oh, you know what though? That does remind me of something. Hold on, before we go too far here, let me go to, why can't I go back? Oh, is it, where is the, how do I go back from where I am? Here we go. Sorry, everybody. Bear with me 1 second. There's something I need to fix right now because I am going to forget if I don't fix it right now. I mean, I already have forgotten, so I need to fix it right now because I meant to do this earlier, and I just need to make this unlisted. Save. Okay. Sorry. All right, back to it. That's done? Yes. Good. All right, now live. I'm good there. Okay, now I'm here, and I see live. Now we need to go to Slipstream. Soundstream. Sorry, Soundstream. And we need to select live source. Whoa. Oh, that's the wrong one. I selected the wrong one. My fault. I need to go here and select live source. There it is. So we will activate that one. Switch to live. Switch to participants. There she is. Okay. I don't know why this is not working now. It says excellent connection, yet I don't see anything. So I don't know what's going on. Currently signed out. Yeah, okay. Okay. And then it re-signed me in anyway? Sure, why not? Oh, wait, because I think I have to use this one. Nope, that's not showing anything live, even though I'm pretty sure it is live. Well, no, I only have one message, so that's weird. Did I not click the other? Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Let me just do this. Turn off. Give it a second. Turn on. Give it a second. Maybe sometimes you just need to restart the stream. Not the whole stream, just the one part of the stream. By the way, if anybody's typing anything, I can't see anything yet because I'm trying to figure out what is going on here. Do I need to reboot the whole page? Possibly. Let's see. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Studio. I'm going to stop this stream for a minute. Okay. All right, now I'm going to give it a minute. I'm just going to wait. Just waiting it out. Let it settle down for a second. Just. And now I'll go back to the live tab before I start the stream again so that it's waiting. Now I'll come over here and now I'll start the stream back up and let's see if it appears after a minute. Because I was basically, hold on, I think I figured it out. Yes, excellent. Okay, so now, let's see. I just don't remember which of these windows it is. I don't think it's this one. I think it's the other one. Yeah, I think it's the other one. I'm pretty sure these two windows, I think I had to select this one. Although neither of them seems to be working weirdly. There's no more, right? It's just the two, isn't it? Oh, well, that says YouTube Shorts. But you know what the weird part is? None of these have a green dot, which is... Oh, there it is. Got it. Activate. And now I have the window. Just took a minute. Sometimes you just have to be a little patient. Hit this button. Ah, I heard the noise. Okay, excellent. Let's go back to here. And we're good there. So now I just need to do a couple things. I need to go to Let's go to social stream, and we need to do the capture of the actual social stream dashboard. There it is. And then the only other thing I need to do is make sure my Let's View window is working. And it is. Okay, so we are finally, how many minutes? 5.5 minutes? That's not bad. I've done way worse than that. Oh, I didn't do my test though. Hold on, let me do my quick test while I'm doing this. Test 1. I heard it. Okay, so I can now close this window out. And I see it. And then we'll go to here, and we will do test 2. And I see it, and I hear it. I can close this window. And now I can say, hopefully, test 3. And I can see it, and I can hear it. All right, everything's working. At just a short of 6 minutes, we are up and running. Okay, well, let me get a drink of water in celebration of that miracle. Sorry if I slept with the mic. I wasn't really trying to. All right, let's jump in. So this is our Adobe Fruit illustration. I know it looks really, really weird right now. It's because the layers are turned off. So if I turn all the layers on, you'll start to see what I'm doing here. So that's what it's going to look like. There we go, when it's all done. But what I need to do right now is I'm putting in a layer of, I don't know what you would call it, accentuation. Yeah, that. So this is to make it look like the actual interior parts of a fruit. So what I'm doing here on this layer is using the water brush and just a slightly darker color. And I'm just doing this, very simple. Nothing too complicated here. And then I'll just erase. Well, I just realized I made a mistake there. I need to start where I can see the whole thing. And then I'll come in and I'll erase the where it's going outside the lines. And then I may do an interior fleshy bit too, but it won't be the same size. Haven't made the decision on that one yet, so we're going to see where this goes. But I know I want this for in here, so it just gives a little bit of texture to the internal bits. Now this is going to be the tricky bit because I have to cover all of this. And it really doesn't matter if I miss small parts. It really doesn't, because I can always come get them later. But I'd prefer not to. If I could get them all, it'd be good. Because these are the only parts that are really this long. And so it's just a little bit more. I like to be zoomed in more because it's easier to see the places where I miss. But I can kind of see it here. It's not bad. And if I do really miss a spot, then it's easy. I just do that. You know, see what I mean? It's not, oh, I just realized I had to do all this. So we'll do all this. See what I mean? It's not really a big deal if I miss parts. It's not like you're even gonna see much of this. Once all the colors are turned on, a lot of this will be very subtle. I don't even know if it's gonna show up on the shirt when I get it printed. Might not. It's okay. I'll know it's there. That's the important part. I'll know it's there. So this is gonna be a shorter stream, I can tell you, because I'm actually pretty tired. I spent a couple hours today helping at work. We were breaking down a rather large structure with some pretty heavy bits, including loading equipment into these, well, I guess they'd be called storage carts of some kind, and then kind of lifting those, not very far, but they were heavy. They were heavy, let me tell you. So I am a little more beat than usual physically, because I don't oh wow, it finished. Oh, look at that. I don't generally lift stuff that much like that, so a little bit more tired than usual. Still want to do my stream, but it will be shorter. I'm just gonna be upfront about that now, but you know, that's okay. I don't often have to do that type of physical stuff at work, and honestly, I really didn't need to today, but there were some other members of the team that it would have taken them a lot longer and been more effort for them, and I will help out when I can help out my team, because I happen to work with some good people, which not everybody can say. And so my way of expressing appreciation for that is that when I can help those guys out, then I try to do it. And that's generally, I think, a good approach at whatever place you are, whatever kind of job you have, even if you don't love the job itself. If the people you work with are good people, then you should help them out. Because, and this is one thing I've found over the years has been fairly universally true, if you help out people and they should go to a better job, they'll remember your name. And if you let those people know, hey, if you find something better, don't forget about me, and you're a good team member, they won't forget. And that can help you out. So it is worth helping out. If you have good, you could apply this to, you know what, you could just go ahead and apply this to everything in life. If there are good people around, you should try to help them out in whatever way you can. But particularly if you work with good people, then help those people out, because it could actually benefit you in the long run. You never know where people are going to end up. You really don't. Life takes some weird twists and turns. It really does. It really does. And so somebody that you might think, oh, well, you know, never going to see that person again. But if that person remembers you as a good team member, I'm kind of having this to a degree right now where there's a person who I know is a good person who could use some steady work. And I am really I'm waiting on some openings where I work that I think would be a good fit for this person. And I'm really hoping those openings come sooner rather than later, because I want to get this person in and talking to the right people to see if it would be a good fit. I'm not going to say any names. I don't want to jinx anything, but not that I really think you can actually jinx anything, but still. So we'll see. But that's what I mean. You try to do the little things you can, because you just don't know. Not that I necessarily believe in karma or anything like that, but I do think, I mean, you know what? Actually, I shouldn't say that. I do kind of believe in karma, I guess, after a fashion, because I do think that there are people who will appreciate being helped and will return that help if they can. That's a form of karma, isn't it? I mean, it kind of is. That's basically what karma is. It's not a mystical force. It's more of the, well, if you do good things will find you. Well, that's kind of true of people. So I suppose in that sense, I do kind of believe in karma. Yeah. I never really thought about it that way, but it does make sense to me. So, karma as a global cosmic thing, like a magical force, not so much. Karma as the idea that if you help people out, then they're more inclined to help you out. Yeah, I'm on board with that. That makes sense to me. That has been my experience in life. You know? So like I said, yeah, I did a little bit more physical labor today than usual, so I couldn't figure out why I was so tired. I'm like, why do I feel... I just couldn't figure it out. I forgot. Because it's unusual to do that amount. I mean, I'm not going to say I never do any physical labor at work. That wouldn't really be truthfully. But this was a lot of moving of heavy equipment for, probably about 2 hours. Fairly heavy equipment. I would imagine that each of those boxes that we were filling probably weighed... Well, it took 4 people to move them. You know, we managed to move one with 3 people, but it was a bad idea. It was a bad idea. Not because the third person, because essentially these are... I don't even know what the measurements would be. They're probably 4 foot by... They're probably 4 feet by 3 feet by 2 feet tall. And these boxes, when filled to capacity... Jeez, good question. How heavy would I say they... They're probably between 100 to 150 pounds. Maybe more. Maybe I might be underestimating. I'm terrible with weight stuff. I can never guess weights correctly. I can't tell what something weighs. It's the same way I can't tell the difference between 5 minutes and 15 minutes. I just have no sense of those things. People are kind of astonished when I say that, but you know, I have such a poor sense of time that 5 minutes and an hour are not all that indistinguishable to me. Now, of course, I can tell the difference I can tell if it's been an hour or 5 minutes, but not in the way that some people can. There are people who have very good internal clocks, and they can really tell what the time, how much time has passed. I do not have that. I have a very poor sense of time. Also a poor sense of direction. So, I'm kind of useless in a lot of capacities. Good thing I have an imagination that saves me in ways that other people use things like, again, internal clocks and kind of a natural sense of direction. I don't have that. So for me, it's my imagination that generally is the thing that I can contribute that nobody else can. Like I said, it's certainly not going to be, oh yeah, I inherently know that's north. No, I don't. No, I don't. Same way that I often confuse left and right until I remember that I'm right-handed. That makes it a lot easier. But even then, I have to almost think twice about it, which is not a great sign, but that's what it is. Where was I going with that? I don't even... Oh, yeah, so I'm not really sure. But it was heavy enough that we didn't want to use... 3 people could have lifted it. The problem is, with the way the boxes were, the way the weight distribution was, because we had to go up a couple of steps. Not far, fortunately. Not very many steps, just a couple. But the problem is, when you're going up steps with something that is basically a large, heavy rectangle for all intents and purposes, there's a point where, as you're going up, the box will almost inevitably tilt. Now, you can try not to make that happen. You can be sensitive to it, but it still generally happens, even if you're trying very hard for it not to happen. It tends to be something that happens. And when that tilt occurs, it then loads a lot more of the weight onto the person at the back, which in the case that we were doing it was where the single person was. And once I kind of realized that, I thought, yeah, and I said, that's it. We're not doing this with 3 people anymore, because you don't want to have that one person trying to bear all that weight and either injure themselves or drop the box. Because this was not cheap equipment in these boxes. Otherwise, they wouldn't have those kind of protective boxes. That's another thing. You can generally tell the value of something by how much somebody is making an effort to protect it. So, yeah, we did not go forward with 3 people, which I'm very happy that everybody kind of agreed, yeah, this was a bad idea. We did it once. Did it once to realize it was a bad idea, and we're not doing it again. Unfortunately, it did not result in any problems, so all worked out, but that was the end of the 3-person system. So these were containers that required 4 reasonably strong individuals to pick up and move. And we moved probably a dozen of those after packing them. So like I said, it was a fair amount of exertion. And so I will admit I'm a little on the tired side, and that's why the stream will be shorter. Or on the shorter side. Not to mention there's nobody here, so it's okay. I always feel less bad about that, although that makes me think, oh, somebody's going to show up right as I'm about to end the stream, which I also feel bad about. Even though it's really not my fault, I can't do anything about it. I do feel kind of bad when people show up right at the end, 5 minutes before I'm about to end the stream. But, it happens. It's okay. It's beyond my control. Whoops. Yeah. I may do a stream tomorrow, which of course this means nothing if you're watching this months after the fact. Tomorrow has no meaning for you. And since there's nobody in the live thing, it really has no meaning anyway, so I'm sort of saying this to nobody. This is sort of a pointless statement. But I guess I'm just saying it to myself. I guess when there's nobody there, you're really talking to yourself after a while. Not after a while. Right away, frankly. But I may do a stream tomorrow. I'll see. Tomorrow could be another day where I'm doing a lot of stuff. If it is, I don't think I will. I think I'll just leave it. Because streaming when you're tired is not... it's not bad necessarily. I don't think I'm... This isn't... I don't think I'm in the state that I was when I had COVID, didn't realize it yet. That stream, I'm pretty sure I was fairly loopy, which would have been 2 streams ago if you're watching this after the fact, where I'm pretty much like, I think I'm sick, I hear. Yeah, that was... Unbeknownst to me at the time, that was COVID kicking in on me. Which I actually am sort of tempted to go back and listen to that and see if I can hear myself degrading in real time in terms of my kind of coherence. I'll bet you can. I'm pretty sure you can actually hear it. I sort of remember getting loopier and loopier fairly rapidly towards the end there. Hey, it was sick. What do you want? It's okay. It makes for a funny stream. I don't think it's, you know. As I did not end up being very, very sick, as there was no negative result of it, we can laugh at it. Laugh at it when there's no actual permanent long-term effect from it. You don't laugh at it if somebody's actually, you know. I mean, if there was something serious like that, I wouldn't leave the video up anyway, so you wouldn't really have to worry about that. But as the only really terrible thing was I had a not so fun 24 hours where I didn't feel well. That was the extent of my COVID experience. That's not that bad, really. It was more annoying knowing that I was contagious for longer, you know, and just not wanting to get anybody else sick. That was the really kind of irritating part of it. Oh my God, there's so much of this to do. There's so much of this to do. It'd be so much smarter to do this in Photoshop. It really would. It would be a lot smarter. You know what? Let me think about this. Should I just do this in Photoshop? You know what? I think I should. Let's see here. Let me... Hold on. I'm going to do this really quick. This will take but a second. I mean, it will. Hold on. Let me switch. This is literally going to take so little time. I'm not going to stop the stream. But let me export this really quick. I will send that over to my primary machine. There it is. Let's open that up really quick in the old Photoshop. I'm not even going to bother sharing this. This is going to be so fast because I just need to select and do a quick select inverse on this, and there's going to be nothing to it. So it'll be this, yes. So select this, right? And then do a select inverse. Actually, no, not a select inverse. You leave the select. Uninvert it. Modify, expand. 2 pixels in. We go to that layer I was just working on. I do a quick delete. Oh, except, you know, do it on the correct layer so that you're not erasing. There we go. Yeah, that's... Wait a second. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why did it do that? Hold on. Oh, no, it didn't do anything wrong. I thought it did something wrong. It did not. Okay. No, we're fine. All right, delete. There, perfect. All right, undo the select. Make sure the edges are all clean. They are. Do a quick save. No, just save. All right, close this. Let me very quickly bounce the image right back to my iPad here. So bear with me a second. All right, here we go. So we go from here and I say airdrop it back to here. Did it get it? It did. All right, open in the Procreate app, please. Go back. Let that import, and I am done, and I am done. And let's turn airdrop back off. Okay. So now, is this the one? Yes. All right, let me turn my stuff back on because I'm done now. So, whoop, there we go. And as you can see now, we've already cleaned up all the edges. Makes it a lot faster. So that should, the only thing that would not have gotten is these little in-between spots, which is fine because I'll just take this small eraser. No, wrong layer. Come to here. There we go. and just get rid of this, it would not have gotten. So this will also be very tedious, but it's a lot less work than what I was going to do the other way. This is far quicker to do. The irony is I'm going to do another layer of all this type of stuff, I think, on the inner, what I'll call the inner flesh of the fruit. Long live the new flesh of the fruit. That is a particular reference to a film. Some people will get it, some people will not. I will not tell you what the movie is. That's up to you to find out. You could always just Google the phrase. So we are in October now, as this is being live streamed. I mean, I think this will actually release in October on at least one of the channels, so it's still going to apply, but a little after the fact. So we are in October, Halloween month. Just a couple of weeks away from Adobe Max, which I am getting excited for. That's what this image is for. I got to get this done quick because I got to get this shirt made for it. That's the whole purpose of this. And yeah, so Halloween's a great month. Got to watch some horror films. We've been doing, we did our summer selection series. We did our fall film festival. Now we're full bore. I think every movie I pick from now on will be a horror film. That is not a particular hard rule. My wife is allowed to pick whatever she wants. I told her that. I'm like, oh, you don't have to pick horror films. I'm going to. Because, you know, we just watched Gremlins 2. That was my wife's pick. A sensationally good one, I might add. Great movie if you've never seen it. I now have realized I like it better than the original. I recognize why the original is revered. It's a good movie. It's a great movie, really. But if I have to pick which Gremlins film I feel like watching, it's always going to be Gremlins 2. Always. It's funnier. There's more Gremlins. There's more variety. It's a great movie. If you've never seen Gremlins 2, well, in a sense, I envy you because you'll get to watch it for the first time. I now have the movie basically memorized. I have for quite a while, which isn't a bad thing, but there's that wonderful first experience of watching a movie that you've never seen before. Really kind of soaking it in. We just had that with the Lando and I watched the Toxic Avenger remake, a movie that frankly is so much better. Lando's phrase was, "This movie is so much better than it has any right to be," and I could not possibly agree more. For a movie that is a remake of a film by a film studio that is not known for making quality movies, but making just kind of enjoyable garbage, the Toxic Avenger remake is a seriously good film. A seriously good film that, unfortunately, just because of its subject matter, will not find a wide audience. It simply will not. It is too its own thing for general audiences. I say that not to make it sound like I look down on normal audiences or ordinary people, but just an acknowledgement that this is not a mainstream film. It's not a family film. I think it'll find a young audience, or for people who are into kind of strange films. But really, it is, if you strip away all the excess of it, all the genre bits, all the weirdness and the bizarreness, which I would argue is part of its character, but if you were to take those things away, you would be left with a very sincere, sweet film about a father and son. That would be it. You know, that's what the movie's about. It just so happens that story is within a movie that is about a janitor who gets dumped into toxic chemicals and becomes a highly unusual looking superhero who fights crime in a highly violent way. But it doesn't stop the fact that the core of the film is about a parent and a child. And that's really what it is. That's not a joke. That's not a fake out or a setup or anything. That is absolutely what the movie is about. And the movie doesn't forget about that either. Because there's movies that start off and they're one kind of thing. And they go on, and they try to shift tones. And a lot of times, when they do the tone shift, they sort of leave behind what the movie started as. And this movie does not do that. It does not abandon the heart that it starts with. It sticks with it. It's actually a very sweet film for what it is. And that's the whole, this is a Toxic Avenger remake that is amazingly sincere and endearing and sweet. Not anything I would have predicted. We watched it we do movie commentaries. My co-host and I do it. And we now have enough commentaries that we're into 2027. I've preloaded movie commentaries through, that's right, 2027. We are just short of being 2 years ahead now, because I'm in July of 2027. So we will very rapidly end up being years ahead between when we watch these movies and when other people hear us talking about them. But that's okay. It just means I don't have to worry about it. It's kind of an autopilot thing. But it was a roll of the dice whether he would like it, because he's not into as much strange genre film as I am. I'm slightly expanding his horizons on that, but still, I know there are limits to it, and there are certain things where he's just not going to respond the same way I do. And I didn't know if this movie would be one of those times, because neither of us is really a fan of the original. The original is sort of it's one of those movies that you watch once so you can have the experience of having seen it, but I've never rewatched it. I never have the desire to rewatch it, because in the end, it is a curiosity, and that's all. Whereas this movie, I intend to buy it once it's out on physical media. I want to support this movie by purchasing it so that I can watch it whenever I want, which is the nice thing about physical media, and I think it also sends a message that physical media matters. So when it is available, which it is not yet, it's available for video on demand, so you can rent it as we did. And I'm sure it will be on, I don't know what streaming service, probably Shudder if I had to guess. It is, in many ways, I suppose, a horror film, sort of. Yet it isn't. I don't know that you can even classify a film of this type. It's also technically a superhero film, but certainly not anything like Marvel would produce, I can promise you that. But, again, it kind of has more heart than certainly many of the Marvel movies I've seen in recent years. Which, take that as you will. Oops, a little bit there, I gotta clean up. But it was a wonderful surprise. I expected to have fun with it. I did not expect to really sincerely love it enough to say, hey, if you have any interest in it, you should watch it. You will have a good time. I will probably actually watch the movie with my wife. I think she might actually like it, because it is a sweet movie. Underneath all of its kind of gross out gags, and there is a fair amount of toilet humor, to be certain. There's also a wonderful character who I feel like we don't get a lot of, which I'm very sad about. I wish we got more of her. She seemed really interesting, and we barely get anything of her. But that's, there's a lot of characters in the movie. It's not a surprise to me we didn't get much. And what we got was fine, so I shouldn't complain. We could have gotten none. So instead, we just didn't get enough. And as the saying goes, you always want to leave them wanting more, as opposed to overstaying the welcome. So, in that sense, the character of intrigue retains her mystery. And that mystery is one that makes her memorable. So, yeah, Toxic Avenger. Had a good week as far as movies. We watched 3. None were bad. 2 were exceptionally... One was really fascinating. And then Toxic Avenger was just a top-to-bottom success. Great movie. Just a great movie. Nothing else to say about it, really. We also watched The Timekeepers of Eternity, which is a fascinating experimental film / remake. It takes a not very well-regarded Stephen King TV movie and reinterprets it in a way that is so much better than the original. Yet it goes from 3 hours to about just a shade over 1 hour. Just an hour, 2 minutes. Just that slight bit over. And it's really, really interesting. It's great. It's got this... The filmmaker actually printed out every frame. Now, keep in mind, for those who may not know much about filmmaking in general, a standard film, even a TV movie in many cases, in some cases TV movies have more frames, but I believe this one was done as film. So a movie typically is 24 frames per second. Okay, now I gotta fix this because this is gonna bug me if I don't just fix this now. So it's 24 frames per second. No, not that, this. So the movie, the TV version that this individual started with was 3 hours long, right? 3 hours long. Now let's do that math really quick, shall we? I'm not gonna try to do that in my head because it'd be impossible. So let me get my calculator. So we're talking about 24 frames a second. So 24 by 60, that's 1 minute. That's 1,440 frames per minute. Okay? So 180 times 1,440 equals, this person printed out at least, because I'm pretty sure there were multiple copies for some of what was being done, 259,200 frames on Xerox paper, black and white paper, copy paper basically. And then did that and took that work and cut the movie down to 1 hour and refocused the story on two of the principal characters that are really the heart of the movie. And in doing so, this person created a work of art that also simultaneously, this is not a small thing, made the movie better. Dialed in the focus and made the movie so much better. One of the things about the movie, if you've never seen it, is it has some of the worst CG. Not only now, but even at its time, it was known for its terrible CG. And so by doing this cut paper technique, the individual was able to replace the creatures in the film with these cut paper versions that are a million times better. I mean, just not an exaggeration. So much better than the CG that it is astonishing. It really, really is. And the thing is, it's hard to... It's a strange movie because we didn't really talk about this specific aspect. But honestly, if somebody were to ask me, I'd say, there's good news, bad news. The bad news is I really think you need to watch the 3-hour TV version to get an appreciation of how bad it was, and simultaneously to then appreciate how much of an improvement this thing is. But even if you were just to watch this with no awareness of the original movie, it would still work. It just wouldn't be... The level of improvement would be a bit lost on you, but you would still probably be really just fascinated by it because of its artistic merit. But to get the full effect, you really need to watch the 3-hour version to understand how much was fixed, corrected, and outright improved upon, especially with those CG creatures, by doing this version, this take on it. It is amazing. It is frankly amazing. So, where are we at here? Oh, coming up on 40 minutes, yeah. And I feel like my voice is even starting to go, but yeah, I can tell I'm... It's not that my energy level is just a slight bit below where I'd like it to be for something like this. So I apologize. Wasn't really thinking about it, that I was doing a stream this evening. I mean, it wouldn't have made a difference. Even if I had thought of it, it's not like I wouldn't have helped out, but definitely probably would have caffeinated a little bit more than I did, because I try to, I try to match my caffeine to the actual need. So I don't drink a huge amount of I don't intake a huge amount of caffeine if there's really not a reason for it. But Probably would have helped in this case if I'd drank a little more. These really wonderful caffeinated drinks that are no sugar and naturally whatevered. They're good. They're called like sparkling ice, I think is I don't know that that's the brand name, but that's the name of the actual drink. They're good. I like the blue raspberry ones. Tasty. Has just, about just maybe like a cup of coffee's worth of caffeine. Then I have the more powerful stuff. That's like podcast days. That is loaded with caffeine. There's a couple different ones. There's, oh man, what's the one called? Oh, geez, Ghostery, I think. Caffeine drinks, or energy drinks, I'm sure they would want to be called. The Gorilla ones I've tried. They're okay. There's also like Alai, A-L-A-I, I think, or something like that. Also good. Slimmer cans. So you don't really get as much of a satisfying drink out of it as you do with like the Ghostery, which are they're bigger cans. So they're more like just having a soda, but they're not soda. They're caffeine, sugar-free, all that stuff. Those are very good. And the flavors are great. Raspberry cream is exceptional. I mean, almost all the flavors. There's a blueberry cream, there's orange cream, which is very good. And I don't really like orange cream, but I like theirs. I think they do a white gummy bear. That's good. Their lemon lime one is good. They make a couple of different lemonades, a sour pink lemonade. Not very sour, by the way, because I don't like extremely sour stuff, and these are not. Just enough that you get some flavor out of it, but barely sour. So if you're looking for heavy sour, you will be disappointed. My wife is like, oh yeah, these aren't sour. She likes sour stuff. I don't really as much. But their lemonades are really good. Yeah, a lot of these now. And the thing is, the bad ones, which I'm not going to name them, but I've had some bad ones. They have a very chemically taste. They're very artificial flavory tasting. These aren't. They really have no aftertaste. There's no real chemically flavoring to them. That's what I like about them, that they don't taste like they're, I'm sure there's artificial flavoring in them, even though they say they're all natural. I'm sure they're not really all natural. I don't know that anything is all natural unless it's literally what comes out of the trees or the ground, or, you pick it yourself and that type of thing. So it's not really all natural, but it seems to be fairly natural. And at least it does not have that kind of immediate chemically taste that will remind you that no, this is not actually all natural, and in fact might be barely natural at all. Yeah, those chemically flavored, and a lot of energy drinks have had that. I don't know if they do now, but a lot of them I've tried in the past, which most of them are the big names, and I do not drink them. A lot of them just had this disgusting chemical flavor to them. Ugh. Do not care for that. But like I said, the Ghost, I think it's Ghostery. It's Ghost something energy drinks. You'll find them. They have some they're really like brightly colored cans, and those are good. Do not have that chemical aftertaste. They work well. I like them. Not that my endorsement means anything. I'm certainly not like a energy drink expert. I just know that I like things that don't taste weird or really, really fake artificially. And they don't. And they have a decent amount of caffeine in them. They have quite a bit, actually, depending on which ones you get. They have something like 3 times a cup of coffee, or like 3 cups of coffee. Quite a lot. You got to be careful with that. If you don't drink a lot of stuff that has a lot of caffeine, like my wife doesn't, if she drinks one of those, she'll be jittery for hours, and she just will not feel well, so she really doesn't drink them. I'm so used to it, I don't even really notice. I mean, I notice that I seem peppier or less tired, but I don't get the jittery. Sorry, I should have muted there. I don't get that jittery thing. So sorry I didn't mute for the cough. Usually I'm pretty good about that one. That one came out of nowhere, so the thing I had to do desperately was turn my head and try to cover my mouth to make it as minimal as possible. Okay, I think I've got everything in this one. Oh, no, missed a few. I'm just getting the last of these, and then this stream will be brought to a conclusion. Got a lot done, though. I'm happy with it. Happy with where we are. Getting there. So you see once everything's on, see, it's a subtle effect, but it's there. But it's, you know, not something you'll immediately see unless you're looking for it. That's okay. I knew that going in. It's more for accentuation, you know, than anything else. And just make sure I got everything in here. Yeah, looks good. All right. Well then, let's do that. And we will turn this off. There we are. All right. Well, oof, boy, yeah, I am getting a bit tired now. Well, thank you for coming by whenever you come by. I don't think anybody was here for the live part. That's fine. It really doesn't matter to me. I don't take anything from people not showing up in the live one, or for the live stream, I mean. I'm perfectly happy if people see it later. That's just as good to me, because, you know, I will always have a pretty small audience, and I'm grateful for anybody who sees this anytime. So thank you very much for hanging out. And if you do see this, then the one thing I would ask you to do is to find a creator who makes stuff that you like. And I'm not talking about me in this instance. I'm talking about other artists who need the help. Because there are lots of artists out there, and probably people that you know that are probably trying to make a go at making a living at being a creator. And this is why I say I don't need the help. I'm not trying to make a living being a creator. I don't really believe that that's something I could ever viably do, at least not like this. So I'm not asking this for me. I'm asking this for people who are trying to make a go at being creative and making a living that way. It is, and always has been, exceptionally tough. And it's probably not going to get any easier anytime soon, I hate to say. So find these people, reach out. It does not have to be money. Money is great. If you can donate money to help these people out, they will appreciate it. But even just sharing their work or publicizing them on whatever social feeds or whatever it is that you use, getting their names out there so other people who maybe are in a position to help them financially or commission them for work or whatever they do can reach out and do that. That's just as helpful. It really is. Those connections matter. Or just send that person a message in whatever channel they're active in, letting them know you appreciate their work. That's huge to a lot of people. It does not always, we get caught up in this idea that it has to be a donation of money. It doesn't have to be that. If they do a show or something, leave a review. That helps them. It pushes them up in whatever they're in. If, you know, you can reshare their work somewhere. If you just drop them a note saying, hey, I appreciate your work and I hope that, you know, you keep doing it. You don't know what that person's going through at any particular point in their lives. They might be at a low point where they're thinking about, you know, maybe nobody's seeing this. Maybe nobody's seeing this stuff and I'm wasting my time, and why should I do this anymore? And then your email, your message, whatever comes through and says, no, you should keep doing this, and keeps them going. That's a massively important thing. So don't underestimate how important that stuff is. So take the time, help out a creator that you appreciate. And you never know. You never know that something where you think your bit of contribution is small could actually be the most important thing they get in quite a while. On that note, I appreciate you being here. I will sleep well this evening, so I hope whatever time you go to bed too, because that's another thing. I know a lot of people who are having trouble sleeping. So I hope that you're not having trouble sleeping, because not sleeping enough is a bad thing. It's really bad. Not only in terms of your general kind of overall mental attitude, but it's not good for your health. So thanks for being here. Have a restful sleep whenever you go to sleep. I know it's a weird thing to end with, but it's been on my mind because I've had a couple people talking to me about it lately. So rest well whenever you do get to rest. Thanks for being here. And until next time, I appreciate you watching. And until the next stream, take care.